What's going on, everybody? This is G Funky Boxing, and this is HCP Uncensored. I'm being joined by the one, the only, the Dragon Style himself, D Style Boxing. What's going on, man?
I am chilling like a villain. You know what I mean? Like only a villain can. That's what I'm
That's
doing.
right. And always remember, HCP, the home of real boxing talk, and that's what we're here to do, man. We're here to talk some boxing. We got a few topics here that we want to touch on. Um, some interesting topics. We got a lot of fights this weekend, man. I mean, last weekend we had fights on Friday, Saturday. Same thing this week, and all good fights too, man. All really good fights. So, um, I want to dig into a few topics here, man, because we
Okay.
got you know the big pay-per-view, Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. Now, there's a lot of people saying it's going to be the biggest fight of the year and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know about all that, but it's a big fight. Don't get me wrong; it is a big fight, man. And I'm excited to see it. I want to see how Leo does against a guy like Tank, and I also want to see how Tank does against a guy like Leo Santa Cruz. But my main question is this, man, because this fight is weird, and it's not the first time we had a fight where belts in multiple divisions are on the line. We got a belt from 130 and we got a belt from 135 on the line.
Mhm.
So, what do you think, man? How do you think? Well, actually, I should say this. I'm gonna ask you the question just like I have it in the title.
Okay.
Can Leo beat Tank at 130 if Tank does come in at 130?
Yes.
I agree
If
too, man.
if Tank makes 130 pounds, right, that would tell me that he put his body through, a lot of work to make to make the weight. Is what it would tell me. Now, it would be the responsible thing to do since that's the weight he agreed to fight in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the responsible thing to do, and I would give him all the credit in the world if he did that. Um, but at the end of the day, I feel like if he were to go through all that, given his history, given the fact that he's so out of shape between fights, this guy has love handles between fights. Given all that, uh, he doesn't go from in shape to boxing shape, right? He goes from out of shape to in shape to trying to get into boxing shape every camp. I think it's going to catch up to him. And if he were to work himself to 130, I just think that would better the chances of Leo Santa Cruz, in my opinion.
I agree 100%, man. I really do. And I want to say what's up to some people here. Run PMC is here. It says, what's up, G Funky D Style? No Paul is here. He says, yeah, I hope Leo weighs in at 135 and says, fuck it, I'm winning this fight. That's
Wow.
beautiful, man. Wheelchair Man John says, what's up? Thanks for being here, man. I haven't seen you on a live in a while, man. Glad to see you here. Shane Wadiah says, salute, G Funky. And Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens. What's up, Reggie? How you doing, man? Hey, man, if Reggie, if you got time, man, you want to hop on, I'll shoot you a link, man, through email. Just, let me know, bro. But yeah, I agree, D Style. I agree.
Yep.
If this guy puts his body through the hell that I think it's going through right now to get to 135, let alone 130, yeah, I think that's gonna bother him, man. I really do. And I had a conversation with a friend of mine who used to be a pro boxer who had, he had kind of a small frame like Tank. He wasn't very tall, but yet he was kind of a wide dude. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
he wasn't very skinny and things like that. He was always on a little bit on the thick side. You know what I'm saying? So he had to do extra things to make weight, and he was fighting in these weight classes in the 126 and the 130s during his career.
I like that, by the way. I was never fat. I was just on the thick side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I was husky, Anyway, he told me, man, and again, I don't want to share everything that he told me because, again, this is a private conversation that we had. But man, some of the things he told me, I mean, I cannot even imagine doing that, man. Like, I don't know how he did it. I don't know how these guys do it, you know. And really, it's a miracle how these dudes can put their bodies through these kind of things and still go in there and perform. You know, like it's truly amazing, man.
It's been they have it down to science, you funk. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Hey, shout
crazy,
out
man.
to not to interrupt you. Shout out to Ghana Local Sports. I was on his channel earlier, man. Great discussion. You guys subscribe to Ghana Local Sports, bro. Okay. Shout out to Reggie Owens, BFTB, Afro Rican,
Yeah,
Chain with Ice, Silver Lugia saying, "What's up, Chief Funky?" Shout out to you. Hey, what happened to your boy from the other week, bro? Saying I'm back and all this. I've been waiting for this comeback, bro. Don't
I've
call
been.
it a comeback. Like, where'd he go?
Yeah, shout out to BFTV Boxing as well, who's in the house. Yeah, man, you know, I've been in contact with him, and you know, he says he's coming back. I'm just waiting, bro. Like, I'm not gonna rush him, nothing like that. But it would be nice to have him come on. You know, he's always welcome here.
It's like Aztec 101 with the swole Jesus and the thing. He never came back. I don't know what's going on, but I know which comeback was less,
Yeah,
enthusiastic. I don't know. Like, it is what it is.
yeah, I'm with in Aztec, man. If you're out there and you come across this, shoot me an email, bro. You know, you're always welcome to come on here. It's not a problem. You know. Damn it, Reggie, I don't have your email anymore, man. Maybe I can get D-Style to forward you the link.
I'll email it to him.
Okay, yeah, I was looking for it right now, and I just don't see it anymore.
Post it in the private chat, you funky, the link.
Got you. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that again, from what a friend of mine told me about him having to cut weight like that. He told me this flat out, man. He said, you know, the things that I did to cut weight. If I was a trainer today, man, I would never. He says I would never recommend a young fighter do these things that I had to do. You know, and you know, I think that some of the things that he's told me are some of the things that Tank has to do to make weight. He missed weight. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think he missed weight for the Gamboa fight, right? Yeah.
No, I don't think he missed weight for that one, did he?
I thought they said he did.
No, he moved up to 135, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the thing. I think he moved up and then he missed weight moving up.
No, he couldn't have missed weight, you funky. You won the belt. He couldn't have missed weight. But he's missed weight before. Your point still stands. I don't want to hang on to your thing, but like he's missed weight. He's had problems missing weight regardless. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I heard the broadcaster say, because I watched that fight earlier today, but I didn't have the volume all the way up because my daughter was doing her online school at the time, so I couldn't have it full dive. I thought that was what they said. Anyway,
either way, he struggled making weight. Your point stands, but yeah,
yes,
I got you.
Yes, and man, if he actually does try to make 130, man, I think, man, Leo will be a happy camper, man, and I think that his chances increase dramatically to win this fight, man.
Can I say this? I think that's the calculated risk that he takes into account and facing. Yes, that's the calculated risk he's taking, right? Tank's going to struggle to make the weight. It's if we're honest, right, G Funky, if he felt more confident, right, like he would have accepted the fight at 135. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But the mere fact that he's like, no, let's fight at 130, that tells me that he wants him to struggle a little bit in making the weight. And I don't even think he's expecting Tank to make 130, right? If he does, great. But he's like, even if it's an extra pound or two, even if he weighs in at 133, that's that extra 2-3 pounds that he had to lose compared to 135. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of it. I particularly don't like the fact, I've been very vocal about this, right? I know somebody in the chat, I forgot who you said, oh, I hope Leo just comes in at 135.
Oh, no problem.
I'm not, I get it, right?
Yeah.
If none of them make it and they both win at 135, no complaints from me. But if one of them does make 130 and the other one doesn't, I have an issue with that, right? Because one of them is making that weight, personally. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say this, man. If Leo beats Tank, he's not a title holder at 135. Okay? Like, it's not a 135-pound fight, bro. You know what I mean?
I agree. But from some of the things that we've heard from fighters, Floyd Mayweather in particular, Tank's got the real belt, the real WBA strap.
No, he doesn't.
So if let's just say hypothetically, Leo pulls
Look,
the
look,
upset Saturday.
let me say this, bro, and this is not beef or anything, man. Look, like I said before, I'm a blood boxing disciple. Okay,
Same
so
here, man.
this is not beef with blood at all. But he's just flat out wrong on this. Okay, I know people have forgotten how to disagree without having beef for some reason. Okay, but
Yeah.
me and blood are completely. We could disagree. I could talk to him right now on the phone, no problem. Okay, but this is what I'll fucking say. He's just flat out wrong about the regular champion being the real champion. Okay. Yes, it is true that if you track the lineage, quote unquote, but for over a decade now, all right, the premier champion in the WBA has been the super champion. No one, like we all knew about the WBA regular. This wasn't something nobody knew. We knew about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone knew. Everybody. And we called Crawford undisputed, and we called Usyk undisputed without blinking an eyelash. Now, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. wants to call Tank the real WBA champion, all of a sudden, everyone's reassessing things, right? So now Taylor Ramirez is not for undisputed now.
Right? Yeah, I guess not. I guess not.
I mean, come on. Like that. That's. I just don't agree with that whatsoever. So I want to be very transparent with this disagreement. I'm being very transparent. All right. So no, Tank is not a real title holder. He's not even fighting at the 135-pound limit for this fight. Okay. I'm just let that sink in for a moment. Like, I mean, come on. Just like I don't consider Ray Leonard a real 175-pound champion. All right. And like I don't consider Pacquiao a real 154-pound champion. Right.
Right.
If you don't fight at the limit, you're not, in my eyes, and I've been consistent about this, you're not a real champion. Okay, that's number one. All right. But hey, if that's the case, and I guess Mario Barrios, okay, is the real champion at 140, right?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess by that logic, yeah.
Yeah, but it's that's dumb. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't agree with it at all. And I was just saying, if we're gonna play these games, if Leo happens to pull this upset, then I guess the road to undisputed at 135, you got to go through Leo Santa Cruz if he wins this fight Saturday. I mean, that would just be hilarious.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm not playing the game. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't playing no game.
Yeah, we know who the real guy is.
Manuel is the real WBA champion. Is that what people are telling me now?
Yeah,
so Manuel Char. The fact of the matter is that WBA is a de facto, the regular belt, quote unquote, is a de facto interim belt. That's what it is. Okay. The guy that wins that belt gets a shot at the super champion. But that's what it is. I mean, it's been like that for a while. I'm not going to change the rules all of a sudden just because Floyd decided to wrongly say that that's the belt he fought for. That's not true, Floyd. You fought Pacquiao for the super championship. You fought Maidana for the super championship. Okay. You fought, I believe, Cotto and Canelo for the super championships. Stop the nonsense. You never fought for the regular, right? He was mainly a WBC titleist, okay? All right, and he did not fight for the WBA title against Shane Mosley. He didn't pay the sanctioning fee. Something I wish fighters would do more often, but they're not doing it, okay? No, just because Floyd said it, all of a sudden people want to, Floyd's speaking truth. No, he's not. Tank is not a real titleist at 135 pounds.
Right. I agree, man. And I mean, let's just say by a miracle, and I do mean a miracle, after the year's over, Spence beats Garcia, Crawford beats Brook, they fight. I mean, that's not for undisputed, right? I mean, they got to run through Ugas. You know,
I get your point, and my answer will simply be this. Okay, my answer is simple. Okay, my answer is yes, it is for undisputed. Okay?
Yes, it is.
Like, it is impossible, bro. It is, and I don't use the word impossible a lot. Okay, shout out to Milcar, 100%. Okay, but this is what I'll say. When you become when you become WBA quote unquote regular champion, they will strip you if you try to unify it with somebody else. Okay, the reason they have the super championship is for unifications. When it first came out. Okay, because Blood was saying he needs to investigate. You don't have to investigate anything. Just take my word for it, okay? When the WBA first came out, they said that, don't worry, guys. This is only a designation for guys that defend the belt 10 straight times or that unify the belts. That's what the WBA Super was for. Okay.
Yeah.
The Super was created to allow these guys to fight, okay, and unify with other belts. That's what they were for. All right. It's their way of like, it's almost like they're creating two different circuits, right? They have the unification circuit and they have the mandatory circuit. That's basically what it is, right? And eventually every sanctioning body, as confusing as it is, will have these two types of champions. But that's clearly not what we should be doing at all.
Yeah, it's not. And I mean, let's not blame. I mean, we can blame some fighters for some of these things, but like majority of the time, like this is what these sanctioning bodies, they created this mess, by creating all these different titles and secondary belts and third belts and diamond belts and all this other crap.
You know what it is, bro? It's like what we did. We just started doing that bullshit, right? Oh, I'm HCP Hollywood and you're HCP Wolfpack, and it was creating all this confusion and shit. Like, now we're just HCP. All right, that's it. All right, and I just want to ask the chat, who's down with HCP? All right,
yeah, everybody should be.
All right, you know me. Yeah, but yeah, man, Tech's not a real champion.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Now, is he a good fighter? Absolutely. You know what I mean? Is he one of the top fighters in the world? Yes. But I don't need the WBA regular title to tell me that. I already know Tank's a good fighter.
Yep. And I'm trying to look for something here because I want to get into the next topic. But this is the beautiful thing about HCP, guys. All right. If you guys disagree with us, guess what? You can come on here and talk with us about it. Give me your email. I got no problem sending you guys a link so you can come on here and we can talk about it, man. We like when people disagree. Look at D-Style and I. We've gone at each other, and look, at the end of the day, we come back and we still do the show.
I've never debated Chief Funky. I've only taught him. You know what I mean? I don't debate, I teach.
Ah, okay. I got you. But yeah, man, I really think that if Tank tries to reach 130, which I honestly I don't think he can. I think he'd be really hurting himself if he tried to. Leo, then
it will be the responsible thing to do. If he does it, I'm going to give him props if he makes 130. And I'm telling you right now, Chief Funky, there's people taking bets. Gano's taking bets, bro, whether or not this one's going to make 130. Like, the weigh-in, whether Tank's going to make 130 or not, is like a debate going on right now.
It's a big thing, man. And, I hate to bring it up because, normally I don't talk about these things when I make predictions or break down fights, but it's a big part. It's a big part of this fight, man, because this guy has trouble making weight,
Yeah, absolutely.
And, he's been very inconsistent with that. His performance in his last fight, against a shot injured Gamboa, had all the signs of a guy who killed himself to make weight. He just didn't look good. It did not look good, man. I'm sorry.
Well, can I say this really quick? Not to cut you off, but early you could see like the big difference in like, as far as, even in boxing skill, like Tank was far and away better than Gamboa. You could tell that early in the fight.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But as the fight progressed, Tank did get tired. He finished the fight. Props to him for that. But he did look like a guy that was struggling to get through the fight. And I did see his power wane a little bit. He was hurting Gamboa later in the fight, but Gamboa was tired himself, and he was a one-legged man. And here's what I'll say. I said this, to plug him in a little bit on Gano Local Sports. I said it earlier. Subscribe to his channel. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, I understand that the ankle issue, the Achilles, to be more specific, was injured because Tank landed a punch and then that happened. I get that completely. Like, I'm not denying that. But it was like a freak accident type thing that happened. That's not going to happen every time he knocks a dude down. You can't count on that every time, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a quarterback whose team just got him like 2 pick sixes. Like, well, hey, but I got the W. You did, but you can't count on that every time, right? So unless Leo goes down and his Achilles gets ripped up again, or not again, but he does it to another fighter again in Tank, then I guess we could take that into account. But this is not a heel hook, okay? This is all right. It's not an ankle submission that he's doing to fighters. This is just something that happened to Gamboa, who did have that injury before, okay? And he re-injured it in that fight. He was already prone to it. So the reason it matters is not because the punch didn't cause it. It's because in analyzing the fight, Tank didn't look so good in that fight, okay?
He did not.
That's just the reality of the situation. Now, the counter to that is, oh, no, but this time, he's going to take Leo Santa Cruz more serious than he did Gamboa. He's going to come in better shape. Well, my answer to that is, well, I hope he does. Because regardless of the weight he funky, whether he makes 130 or not, okay, he could come in heavier and still not be in good shape. So if he looks the way he did in the Gamboa fight, he's going to lose. I'm just going to tell you guys right now, straight up and down, he will lose that fight. You know why? Because the pitcher is not going to let him win with the home run hit. Okay? He's going to make sure you may hit a base, but you're going to have to get a second base, third base, and home against me. You're going to have to be in shape to do so. Okay? To run fast enough to get to that safe. To run fast enough to steal a base or two. To run fast enough to get to the home plate. I'm not going to let you just hit a home run, just do a walk-off home run. Okay, no walk-off knockout. I just don't see that happening. That's why he needs to be in shape for this fight.
Yeah, and I mean, Leo has shown a great chin so far in his career. Now, I understand he hasn't been in there with a puncher like Davis, but at the same time, I mean, Davis, we haven't really seen him in there with a guy that's got, that's an elite fighter that can take punches. We have not seen that yet. So to me, his power is still a little questionable. Although I do think he's probably the hardest hitter that Leo's been in there with, no doubt. Right. But yes, you're right about the Gamboa incident. That was sort of a freak thing that happened.
I sent him the link, by the way, Takano, by the way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but I just want to talk about this again. Tank early on, round 2, he knocks down Gamboa. And to me, it looked like Gamboa was a guy who was in survival mode for the rest of the fight. I mean, he did a lot of holding, a lot of clinching, which, by the way, I didn't like the way Tank responded to that. When a guy just came in, wrapped him up. He even started to rough Tank up a little bit late in that fight. He was able to grab him, move him against the ropes, punch him while they were clinched, things like that. That's not a good sign to me, man. I'm sorry. It's just not. A guy who's smaller than you, who's got one leg, is able to muscle you around late in the fight. Mm-hmm. To me, that shows you're badly fatigued at the end of that fight. And not only that, the man's mouth was open. Cano Loco, what's up, bro? Thanks for joining us.
It was good,
hey, I gotta go. Gee, fuck you, I gotta go. I was playing.
I'm gonna finish burning, and I'm gonna let you roll, Cano. But yeah, I did not like what I seen there at the end of that fight. Him being pushed around by a one-legged Gamboa, allowing him to punch on the inside and things like that, clinching all the time. He was not able to push him off like you would see normal guys do, because I think he was just too fatigued. I mean, you see his mouth open a majority of the time from the 6th round on. I mean, there's rounds in this fight, guys, where Tank Davis throwing less than 20 punches in a round. And I mean, this is round, the middle of the fight, rounds 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, he threw 20 punches, 14 punches. I mean, he's barely letting his hands go in these. He's tired in that fight, man. So these are bad signs for me, man. If he doesn't make weight the proper way, and he tries to come in at 130, man, I think it's going to be trouble down the stretch, man. I really do. Cano Loco, what's up, man? Go ahead and speak your piece, bro.
Man, I had to come in because y'all kept egging me on. Dang it, man. Listen, man. First of all, this is a different fight camp that Tank is in. I don't see him coming in the same way that he did against the Gamboa fight. That's one. That's why he changed the trainer for this fight. It's pay-per-view. So he's more ready for this. He knows he's got to take it more serious. That's number 2. Number 3, the Gamboa fight. Yes, I understand that was a freak accident, these styles. I understand that that's not going to happen often. Okay, but it did happen, and you got to give Tank credit for that. The other thing that went into that right there is that after that happened, Gamboa went into survival mode. And for the people who've been around boxing forever, I'm not gonna give away my age, even though I think a lot of people know I'm old. But when they go into survival mode, those opponents are super, super hard to finish because now they're in a mode that they do not want to get stopped. Now they're trying to make it to the end. Once he had got to that point, Gamboa said, shoot, now I got to try to make it to the end. And that is why it went all the way up through the 12. And, yeah, Tank might have looked a little gassed, but he still got the job done in the 12. I don't expect that same Tank Davis to come in facing Leo Santa Cruz. And also, just one more thing, he is making weight, D-Style.
I hope for his sake he doesn't come in looking like that because from what I seen, like I said, a guy who was one-legged for a majority of the fight was able to, push this guy back, push him against the ropes at times, muscle him around a little bit late in the fight. I mean, to me, that shows a big sign of fatigue, man. You got anything to add to that, D-Style?
Well, here's what I'll say. Okay. Yes, I agree with you that the punch had a lot to do as to why his Achilles went out like that, right? I agree 100%, but is that going to happen every time, Kano? Like, it's not like that was a freak kind of accident that happened. That is not going to happen against Leo Santa Cruz. Like, Leo's not going to be limping on one leg, right? If he gets knocked down in this fight, and Leo's going to bring more heat than Gamboa did too, I believe, and that's just how I feel about that, I also look, people tend to equate punching power with strength, and I would always tell people Ward is stronger than Kovalev. Kovalev might hit harder, okay, but Ward is a stronger guy physically, right? I don't know if Tank is a stronger guy than Leo. Leo has broad shoulders. I've always said that about him. Okay. And I'm not too sure if Tank is that much, quote unquote, bigger than Leo. Leo also has dimensions, the dimension advantages over Tank Davis, where I think he's going to be able to box on the outside for a couple of rounds. That's his green zone, in my opinion. He's going to be able to also. Now he has to get through that mid-range. He's gonna have to, kind of go through that like butter, because like a hot knife through butter, he's gonna have to slide through that mid-range. That's the danger zone, okay? Because that's where Tank Davis wants to fight. Mm-hmm. And you can, in my opinion, and maybe you have some disagreements on this, kind of like your thoughts on this, but I feel like Leo Santa Cruz has the advantage on the inside, and he has the advantage on the outside. Right, he could box both those ways. I feel Tank has the obvious advantage at mid-range, and I'd rather have the advantage on two ranges than one. Right? I mean that's me. I would rather have those two advantages over the one range. So I would just like your thoughts on that. Do you disagree with that? Do you think Tank could handle himself better on the inside or the outside than people think? Like, what do you think about that?
Man, I honestly believe Tank Davis is a better boxer. I know that's going to sound ludicrous to a lot of people, but he is a better boxer, man. And yes, Santa Cruz is going to bring more pressure, but bringing that more pressure is what's going to get him in trouble. D-Style, that's what's going to get him in trouble. And yes, I acknowledge that was a freak accident thing, that won't happen. Probably, I don't know, we might never see that again for another 20 years, that a punch like that causes something like that. I get it, but if I want to give anything to Santa Cruz, will be his length and his IQ. But boxing, nah, that's got to go to Tank. And I just don't see Tank having that big of a problem. I think Leo, I don't want to compare the fighters, but they're two different fights, man. So please do not take it like I'm comparing them, that they fight the same. But Pedraza was a taller, longer, you know what I'm saying? Tried to do this pressure stuff and all that, and that didn't work out. Now, Leo Santa Cruz is a higher caliber opponent at this point than what Pedraza was, but the same general rule applies. You're going to bring that pressure, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And yes, Ford is his head trainer, but he had hired, and they got another trainer for this camp. Ford is there, but he's not the main guy doing the training right now. And they did that on purpose. He's still part of the team. It was just to get him right for this fight. Who was it that said that? I can't remember who it was in the chat that's mentioned that Ford was there. Yes, he's still
Oh,
there. But yeah,
run PMC. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, no, I'm aware of all of that, but he did get somebody else to train him, which
Okay.
I agree with. He needed a change. After this fight, of course, Ford is still gonna be with the team and all that, but I just think they kind of like added new wrinkles to his training, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is man. There's a lot of variables in this fight, man. I mean,
Well,
I
let
just
me ask you this: if I can ask Gano some questions really quick, right?
go ahead.
I
Sure,
feel like
go
Gano,
ahead. I mean, my
I think
lady's just looking at me all crazy because but go ahead.
so. No, like I feel like you ducked and dodged the question a little bit. You know what I mean? Like what I was specifically asking was, let me do it in three parts. Who boxes better on the outside, Leo Santa Cruz or Tank?
Leo,
Okay. Who boxes better at mid range?
Tank.
And who boxes better on the inside?
I still believe Tank. I know you don't agree with it,
Okay.
but I believe Tank.
So that's her disagreement. Okay, so let's touch on that. What do you see in Tank that maybe Leo hasn't seen before? That he could do in this fight on the inside.
The uppercuts, the body
Okay.
shots. That's where the inside is gonna be Tank.
Okay. All right.
I agree. I agree with you on that, Connell. I think Tank has a beautiful uppercut. He gets it through just about everybody's guard that I've seen him in there with. One thing I got to say about Leo is in recent fights, man, he surprised the hell out of me with his head movement on the inside. He does dip to get out of the way of shots. Another thing I like about Santa Cruz that I notice on the inside is he does a good job of keeping his hands up, man. And I mean, not both hands up at the same time, but even when he's punching, I notice if he's throwing a left hook to the body or he's throwing a left hook up top, he makes sure to get that right hand and he keeps it right on his face. I like that from him, man. But I do agree with you, man. I do think that the uppercut might have some success against Santa Cruz on the inside.
Yeah.
I don't know if BFTV is here or not, but he explained
here.
the best the other night when he explained Tank's power. I 1,000% agree with BFTB on that. Even though I go over there because I want to see him roast these fools, because he always roast these guys. I find it very quite funny. I wish he can come on over here and roast some of my people too. But he explained the way his power is, that he's got that kind of power. And if he's in here, please correct me. I don't want to misquote BFTV at all, but he's got that kind of power that even when you see the punch coming, even when you're blocking it, it still can get you out of there. That's just something that Leo Santa Cruz I don't think can handle.
Well, we're gonna find out because I think that's gonna decide the fight. I think because I think the consensus is on the outside, right from that outer range. Most people feel Leo has the advantage and probably because of the dimensions and what he showed in the second Frampton fight, right? And then mid range, everyone I think kind of agrees that Tank has a clear advantage at mid range. That is his wheelhouse, in my opinion. The inside, I think that's where the disagreements lie. And I think most people that feel Tank's going to eat him up on the inside have Tank clearly winning. Most people that either question or wonder how Tank's going to do on the inside seem to believe this is going to be a closer fight than most people think. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, a lot of question marks. And to me, that's one of the big ones is –
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I hate to interrupt you, but I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, man. Tank is gonna hit him with one of them get back shots, and Leo's gonna be like, "Oh shit, this is real." He's not. It don't matter how good his defense is. He's gonna hit. Tank's gonna hit him in the arms and probably break his arm. He's just too strong.
Nah, you're gonna break it.
I wouldn't say that, but I think it's a good strategy to hit him wherever you can, and I think the same applies for Leo. I mean, if Davis is going to put his hands in his pocket like he did against Gamboa, he's going to be using a lot of energy, dipping, dodging, blocking. He's going to be taking shots on the arms and the sides, everywhere. You know, Leo's gonna he's gonna be letting his hands go if Tank's not letting his hands go. But that's one of the big question marks here, man. In this fight is can Leo take one of those big clean shots from Davis? If he can't, could be an early night. If he can, we got an interesting fight on our hands, you know. But I think if it's 130, if he kills his body to make 130, man, I like Leo's chances. They improve. But I want to jump on to the next topic here, man, that I have. Now, I want to share my screen real quickly. I want to get your guys' opinion on this.
Someone said Tank is not DSG. Of course he's not. Tank to me is, man, look, I'm not even going to get into that conversation with these fools. Is this unfiltered or what?
Yeah. Whatever you want, kind of go ahead.
Man, god damn, bro. DSG don't even throw as many punches as Tank. Come on now. Why are we comparing apples to oranges, man? Tank is a tank. They call him Tank for a reason. That's a beast right there. And he's going to steamroll him. I predict the 8th round, man. It could be earlier. If Leo Santa Cruz tries to pressure like he says he is, it's going to be an early night. If he don't, then I got Tank winning by the 8th. That's the bottom line.
Is it going to look like DeMarco Broner or something like that? Worse, more competitive? Like what?
Man, it's just look, man. Nah, man. I don't think it's gonna be as competitive as people think, man. And you gotta understand too, the counter punches that Tank Davis throws are, man, they're just phenomenal. He's quick, man. He's got like that twitchy quick. Man, I don't even think Leo's gonna see half of them shots.
Quick twitch muscle. Okay.
I'm getting heated now, man. I don't like getting heated on somebody else's channel, man. I gotta sit back.
That's what Uncensored's for, bro. You know, HCP Uncensored. We cut loose here, baby. All right. So if you feel like you gotta let something out, you can go ahead, man. It's all good. I want to touch on this tweet right here, man. And this is a part of the second topic here. This I find very interesting to read. Now, this is from Steve Kim on Twitter. And I'm going to read this tweet here. Where
I'm playing. Go ahead.
He says, Tank Davis told me last week on Teofimo Lopez, if it makes sense, we can fight. I'm not ducking or dodging nobody. If he can make 135, we can make it happen. Let's break this thing down here, man. Okay? Because I don't like some of these things that were said here. For me, and I want to ask you guys this question. I already got my answer about this tweet, but I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. What does he mean by if it makes sense, we can make the fight? Either one of you guys can go ahead and go first.
That's pretty simple, man. You know, the money's got to be right on the table, man.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to, man. I think Tank is the most dangerous fighter in that weight category. I just feel that way.
Okay. I mean, to be honest with you, it sounds very generic. I think all fighters say that kind of, you know what I mean? You know, as a fighter, it's just how I feel, right? You have to kind of word it that way in case you feel they're trying to screw you over. You know, I get that it could be seen as he's going to try to duck but I see it as, you know, what if, you know, they offer me something that doesn't make any fucking sense? You know, then hey, I said if it makes sense, right? But I'm telling you right now, Fox, Showtime is putting this debate. What I'm talking about? This pay-per-view. All right, they're putting the pay-per-view. They're owned by CBS Corp. Guess what? They can't hide the numbers. We're gonna know what the numbers are. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, we're gonna know what the numbers that Tank does in his fight. Okay. Now he's got to get through Leo first. Assuming he gets through Leo Santa Cruz. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if they're going to want it to be on Showtime or Fox on the PPC side and expect the Teofimo to fight him on a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? But it's not. Look, they did it with Wilder and Fury. Like ESPN and Fox work together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they could do it for Tank and Teofimo. To be honest with you, that's probably the biggest fight that could be made at 135 in terms of money. You know what I mean? But I think that's what it is. I just think, you know, he wants to leave himself some plausible deniability in case the fight doesn't go through.
I just think that fight is not going to be the next fight regardless. I think Tank and Ryan are probably going to meet up next. And y'all already know the talk going on with Teofimo over there in Madison Square Garden. So I don't know. I think it's too early to talk about that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, my problem is this. I mean, And I think you guys touched on some good things here on this tweet. But my thing is like, I mean, what doesn't make sense about that fight? Really? I mean, we understand Tank. I mean, he's a draw, right? We know that. And now we know we got a guy who's put himself in position to be the best guy at 135 pounds at Teofimo Lopez. Like, there's no question about who the best guy is at 130 right now. So, I mean, what doesn't make sense? I mean, he's got all the belts. Like
Right.
it should. Like, I feel like he should have just said, "Damn right, I want to fight this guy. He's got all the belts. Let's do this thing. I think I'm better. I think I can beat him." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I don't like that sentence there in this quote. Like, if it makes sense, like, I don't know what doesn't make sense about the fight. You know?
Well,
You don't think you're reading a little too much?
Nah, man, listen. The bottom line is, man, that
Mm-hmm.
I guess it'll be up to Tank, man, whether he accepts or not. That's the way. I mean,
Yeah.
But he is the money man, though. Tank does draw pay-per-views.
Oh, we don't know
Well,
yet.
we'll find out. We'll find out Saturday, and we're going to talk about that next. That's the next topic on the discussion here on HCP Uncensored. We're going to talk about the over/under for the pay-per-views. But if he's the draw, like some of these guys have been saying, you know, I mean, yeah, he sold seats in arenas, you know, near his hometown and stuff like that. But you know, we'll see if that will transfer over to pay-per-view buys this Saturday.
Right.
You know. But for me, I mean, as a fight fan, I'm looking at this. I'm like, look, this makes sense. This fight totally makes sense. Like, there's nothing that doesn't make sense about Teofimo Lopez versus Tank Davis. Now, again, Tank Davis, we know that, you know, I mean, he hasn't really fought anybody at 135 yet. But if he's drawing money, like they say, then it should make sense. I mean, Teofimo just did $4 million on ESPN, so it's not like people don't know who he is now. You know?
By the way, that's 4 million live views. That's not including people that went back to watch it on replay on ESPN Plus or anything like that. Just throwing that out there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
For those that don't know the numbers, it was 2.8 million on ESPN. That's what it topped out at in the middle of the fight. Okay, and then the rest was the ESPN Plus streaming. So it did good numbers.
4.2.
4.2. There you go.
Yeah, it's the most watched boxing event this year.
But here's the other, like, to be honest with you, I'm more on the if he can make 135 line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to get into that too.
So like, hey, you wanted to fight Josh Taylor at 140. Well, you can't fight Theo at 140?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're calling out Josh Taylor. I want that smoke, blah, 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 right? If Teofimo Lopez eventually moves up, then you could still fight him. It's still a makeable fight. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't see any issue at 140. I mean, look, Tank, you from what I read from one of the comments earlier, you know, he had to go back and cut weight to make weight for his last fight against Gamboa, which was at 135. So, I mean, if anybody has issues making weight, it's him. It's not Lopez. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't really understand. Again, to me, it makes total sense. And we know Teofimo's a bigger guy at 135, but he's never had issues making the weight. You know, he's never missed weight. So I don't know, man.
In some fairness, you funky. I mean, he has talked about eventually moving up, right?
Yeah.
So he could totally just be saying, "Hey, if he's still at 135, I'll fight him." My thing is, you know, you could still fight him at 140. I don't think Tank's going to be at 135 that long if he keeps having trouble making weight. You know what I mean? We're going to see, though. If he does make 130, like Gano believes he's going to make 130, then hey, you know what I mean? But we'll see. It's just a matter of wait. It's the waiting game. Let's let him get through Leo Santa Cruz, and then we'll see.
Are you getting in on the wager? For the wager?
What's the wager?
I got $5, Gano, $5 cash app that he does not make the weight, 130.
All right, you got a deal.
All right, cool.
Hey, I want some of that action. I want some of that action too. I don't think he makes 130, man.
Me, all right. Me, G Funky, and me and D Styles. That's fine. I gotta make it wait.
All right, there you go.
All right, sounds good, man. But yeah, I just for me it makes sense, total sense, for this fight to happen, especially if it does good pay-per-view numbers. You know what I'm saying? Which it could do. I mean, we know Leo Santa Cruz. You know, he's he's a Mexican fighter, multi-division champion. We know that, we show up and we support our fighters, man. There's no question about that, So, from what I hear, and I remember D-Style, when this fight was first announced, a gentleman was in our chat. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was an African American gentleman, and he told us this. He said that Tank Davis has crossed over in the African American community. If that's true, I don't know. I don't know that for sure. But if that's true, then this fight should do good numbers. So, a fight with Lopez, it makes all the sense in the world at that point. You got both guys that have, they're getting good views, and one guy's got all the belts, So to me, it makes sense, man.
Yeah. I got you.
You know what I'm saying? Anything you want to add to that, Cano Loco, or anything? Or are you good?
Nah, man, I'm good. I'm good, man. I just know, man. Nah, I'm good.
Next topic.
Right. Yeah. We can move on to the next topic now. Let me go ahead and stop this screen here. So, speaking of the buys, Oh, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say one word. Coño.
Coño, man. That's funny. So, over under on the pay-per-view buys, man. Now, I already kind of touched on it. Like I said, we had a guy tell us that Tank has crossed over in the African American community. I don't know, man. Before we go the over and under, D-Style, what do you think, man? Do you think that Leo has got to the point where the Mexican boxing fan base?
No,
I don't think so either.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. Let's keep it real, Chief Funky. Like look, we got to keep it real. Like, I know that, and I agree with you. Mexicans show up to support their. That's true. However, let's not ignore the fact that Juan Manuel Marquez only did 50,000 against Casa Mayor. You know what I mean? Like he obviously wasn't a crossover. Marquez needed another guy like a Pacquiao to sell. You know what I mean? So his numbers with Bradley, I think he did like 250,000 in that fight. So you like, there's only certain guys that have an it factor where they start selling 300,000 or more, right? There's real few guys in the history of boxing that have done that. Now, not everyone is a Tito Trinidad. Not everyone's a De La Hoya. Not everybody's a Floyd Mayweather, right? So, and this is just outside of the heavyweights. Like, not everyone just sells. Like Chavez Jr., right? He would sell like 150,000 or something like that. His fight with Maravilla Martinez, I think, did like 450,000, and that was considered like a big fight. Okay, so yes. Mexicans they support Mexican fighters, but Mexicans also, they support real fights. Okay. It also has to be like a real fight. Like, it has to be something where that gets out there, but there's still cases like Marquez that just didn't cross over like that. Just remember, even when Morales was fighting Pacquiao, 300,000 was considered a lot, and that's what they were doing. Like those were big numbers, and people just seem to just forget that. We were just spoiled with the Pacquiao Mayweather numbers for so long that we just think these things are normal. Expecting every fight to do 1 million it's just ludicrous. Okay, but yeah, I do want to get to the over under just so we could kind of get an idea. I'm interested to know what people think good numbers are.
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to Andres. Bayamón en la casa, Caserío Monterrey. Yo soy de Barrio Obrero, Puerto Rico. All right, I'm good.
Bayamón,
vamos a hacer todo eso en español para seguir aquí. Vámonos.
Bayamón, that's where Hector Camacho is from, right? If I'm not mistaken. Maybe didn't hear me. I think that sounds familiar. I think I remember hearing that every time he they introduced Camacho during his fights, man. Great documentary is getting ready to come out by Showtime, man. I can't wait to see that one on Hector Camacho. That guy was very entertaining back in the day. But, yeah, I agree with you, D-Style. It's a shame how Marquez was never able to, get that kind of support unless he was fighting a Manny Pacquiao. That's the only time that, we've seen the Mexican fan base go hard for him for some reason. And he's such a great fighter,
It's what it is. Like, he just didn't get that support. Like, that's just a reality. Okay. There's only few fighters that have that appeal, that it factor. That's all it is, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's no science to it. There's no way to pinpoint it. The question is, does Tank have that it factor to sell? That's the question. I want to get to the over under. You know what I mean? That's what I want to get to the meat of it.
Okay, so let's do this, man. Since, like you said, I think you made a great point. Besides Mayweather and Pacquiao doing the million pay-per-view buys like they were doing, it seems to be like when guys first get out there that have that potential to be that next pay-per-view star, they usually start out around 300,000 buys. Like I remember Canelo when he did his first pay-per-view outside of Mayweather, I believe it was around 300. And then his next couple of fights were around the same, 350, something like that. So let's just make the mark 300 a success, okay? And again, I don't know much about pay-per-view numbers, and I don't really get into that too often here. I mostly just talk about the fights. But let's just use that as the mark, 300 being a successful pay-per-view. Over, under, Cano Loco, what do you think? 300,000.
It'll probably be over, but I'm not good with numbers, so this is where I exit and let y'all have the platform. But I appreciate y'all letting me on. I'm going to have to get off, though, because my phone is blowing up, and I do got to attend these phone calls here and these texts.
Definitely, man. Thanks for coming on, Cano.
Yeah, no sweat, brother. We appreciate you coming on. That's Cano Local Sports here on YouTube. You guys can subscribe. Not only can you, but you better, all right?
Salute, appreciate you.
Man. Yeah,
HCP. Peace out.
HCP, baby. Good stuff, Cano Loco. I appreciate you coming on, man. But 300,000. What do you think, D-Style? Over or under?
So let me first, if I may, I'm gonna say under, just to answer the question really quick. I think it's gonna do around 190,000, something like that. Okay. Now here's what I'll say. What makes a pay-per-view a success is what makes any other business a success, right? Did it make profits in the end? That's what a success is, right? So you could have a fight that does 900,000, but if you needed, $1,200,000 for it to break even, that's not a success, even though 900,000 is high, right? So I'm not sure what the purses are. I'm not sure what they're paying Tank. I'm not sure what they're paying Leo and the undercard. I'm not sure how much money they spent on advertisement and stuff like that, which just start everything at a negative. I don't know, right? But anything over that, making a profit would be a success, right? That's what a success is. It depends what somebody's getting paid, right? When Mayweather was getting a guarantee of 40 million and the Berto fight only did 400,000, that was a failure because they did not make up for that money. Okay. So, but moving on, I'll say about 190,000. So under the 300,000 mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna say under too, man. I'm gonna think around either right at or above 200.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong though, because I'm a real boxing fan, and I want to see boxing succeed, no matter who's on the pay-per-view. I don't give a damn about what promotional banner they're under. Like, I know that there's some of these guys out here that have they have these conspiracy theories. Oh, everybody hates the PBC. I mean, I don't get into that type of stuff. I want to see the fight do well. I just think it will. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Tank's never fought on pay-per-view. Leo's never fought on pay-per-view. Now, Leo has been able to, bring in good numbers, like as far as selling tickets. Like people come to see him. Like I know in those Frampton fights, those crowds were going crazy. Same thing with the Abner Mares fights.
Yeah.
I mean, those places were packed. People going crazy. So, I know these guys can put asses in the seats, but I just don't know if they can get people to spend $75 during a pandemic. And support the fight like that, man. I just
Is that the price for this fight? Is that the price? 75?
Yeah, $75, man, in HD. So
I just don't know, man. Like I just don't understand why they're pricing it so high when we're getting events for free.
Right.
Okay. Like, look at what you just had on ESPN for free. Like, it's hard for people to shell out money. You know, when you know what I mean. Price it lower, dude. Like $55 at least. You know, like I think that would make the most sense in my opinion. Probably get more money out of it.
And yeah, and you know what I think is pretty good about this pay-per-view is I actually like the undercard. I think the undercard's a pretty good undercard. We got Mario Barrios fighting, defending his portion of the real championship at 140.
Diego Magdaleno, Regis
Magdaleno.
Undercard, yeah.
Yeah, man, we
the
got
respective fights, yeah.
Yeah, these are good fights, man. Magdaleno is an IBF eliminator, so that's a big fight at 135. You know, whoever wins that fight could put themselves in position to fight for a belt. You know, the belt that Teofimo Lopez has.
Yeah.
You know, so
I like Magdaleno. There's no need to see that fight again.
No, I don't think so. And he's a friend of the show. Shout out to Diego Magdaleno. I wish him well, and I think he's gonna beat Isaac Cruz Saturday night. I mean, you don't want to underestimate guys, but I haven't heard much from the kid.
Hey, by the way, we've got 20 people live. We've got 17 likes, right? I promise you guys, if you press the like button, it doesn't shock you. It doesn't. If any, it gives you good luck. You know, when you press the like button, all right, you become instantly. I don't know if you knew this, G-Funky. When you press the like button on HCP, you instantly become 4.7% cooler than you were before. It just become a cooler person. It just happens instantly.
Absolutely. And again, this is the home, baby, the home of Real Boxing Talk. And that's what we do here, man. That's what we do here. So we're going to get into one more topic, and then we're going to open it up to the chat. If you guys got any questions or you want anything else you want to talk about, we'll talk about it here. We've gone 1 hour so far. Here's what I want to say. Chisora, or I shouldn't say it this way. Usyk versus Chisora.
Don't matter.
Well, he's the guy, I guess. You know, kind of carrying the promotion. I guess they're putting all their marbles on Usyk. What do you think, man? What do you think of this fight? Who do you think wins and how?
Good question. Look, this is a fight that's going to be happening, I believe, during the dude. Saturday, we got a jam-packed weekend of boxing. I want to say that right now. Okay.
You guys better be ready, man. The boxing junkies, man, we are going to be living it up, baby.
Yeah, but Usyk Chisora, here's what I'll say. I was not that impressed with Usyk's last fight, okay, at heavyweight against a very old opponent, all right? Yeah, I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
Witherspoon's a guy that Areola just destroyed in his prime. I mean, just kind of stop and think about that, right? Chisora's going to come put some serious pressure on Usyk. And if Usyk isn't ready for that pressure, he's in trouble. Okay? Like that's point blank, period. And I want to see Chisora do that. That's his only chance to win. Okay? Make him feel your presence. Make him feel those shots. Even if he blocks them, they're going to feel heavy to him. He's never fought a guy as big as you in there. Of course, I don't think Chisora's in his prime. He's just out of his prime. But he's a top, 15, contender in the world. So I want him to apply pressure on Usyk, right? Go to the body, hit him in the arms, hit, the gloves, whatever it is, the elbows, hit him as hard as you can, and just pressure the hell out of him and continue it. Okay, if he hits you, keep coming back, because at the end of the day, I don't know if Usyk could take that constant pressure. Now, Usyk's going to have to use his legs in this fight. Okay, he's going to have to move. He's going to have to counter. He's going to have to hit Chisora after making a miss, and make him think twice about throwing. And that's what Usyk has to do. He's going to have to put on a master display to win this fight. If it's a topsy-turvy fight, it's not going to end well for Usyk, in my opinion. Usyk has to have, a game plan. He's going to have to be the strategic one in this fight. He's going to have to use his legs in this fight. Pivot, every time Chisora misses a hook, okay, pivot away from the hook and then counter him with a right hand or even a hook as well. That's what Usyk has to do in this fight. And the counters are going to be the big part, okay? When a fighter throws a punch and it gets countered with something, those are the punches they don't see coming most of the time. Those are the ones that could hurt somebody. So That's what I look for Usyk to do. I do believe he will do that. I think Usyk will show his amateur pedigree in this fight and pull off a unanimous decision against Chisora. I don't think he stops him. I think it goes to decision, something like a 7, I'll say like an 8 rounds to 4 decision in this fight. I think it'll get a little rough for him towards the end. All that he's going to be a little fatigued, a little tired, but I think Chisora wins the decision.
Chisora wins the decision. Wow. Man, I did not expect that.
No, Usyk. I'm sorry, Usyk.
Okay,
Usyk
okay.
wins the decision, 8-4. I did not mean to say. I apologize. Usyk wins. If you listen to my breakdown, it was clear to Usyk. Usyk by decision, 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3, something like that. I just don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, G Funky, but I don't think Usyk has any serious power for these big dudes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna find out Saturday because, like you said, Chisora is not bashful at all in that ring. He's gonna get up in your face, and he's gonna try to land big shots, man. That's just what he does in every fight I've ever seen him in. The question is, how much does he have left in the tank? You know,
I kind of see it like Chisora winning the first round, and then I see Usyk winning like 7 straight rounds or something like that, and then he'll kind of like give away a round or two, and then I see Usyk closing the show. That's how I see the fight.
Yeah, I think Usyk. I know a lot of people don't like him. I don't think he's that bad. I mean, yeah, he did fight a guy who was literally sitting on the couch. They called him up. Hey, man, you want to fight? Yeah, I'll fight. So, I mean, yeah, I understand, why people have their opinions on Usyk. But at the end of the day, this guy can box,
He can, yeah.
The question is, will he be able to do that against these bigger guys who pack a much bigger punch than the guys at cruiserweight?
Right.
I personally think he has enough to keep Chisora off of him. I think he's got enough power to have Chisora respect it to where he won't be able to run in recklessly. I do think early he's going to come in and apply some heat. And I mean some real heat on this. He's going to try to test him out. He's got to try to see if he can take his power. He's got to get in there. He's got to be willing to take a couple of shots just to land something on the chin to see how this guy responds. That's the big key in this fight for Chisora, to test that chin early. I think. I don't think Usyk has a problem moving around, going 12. I mean, unless Chisora, like I said, has a flashback, and then the legs go back to a couple years ago. But I don't know, man. I just don't think he's got enough in the tank to put that kind of heat on Usyk and enough pressure on him all night long to get him to submit or go down or anything like that, man. So, I'm going to have to roll with Usyk here, which I think will be entertaining for the first couple rounds. I want to say maybe the 4 rounds. The first 3-4 rounds should be some good stuff, man. I think Chisora is going to come out there and really put some heat, man. And then I think eventually the class of Usyk will show up, and I think Chisora will probably get tired, man. I really do. And then we'll see. It'll be, like you said, one of those things where he just starts winning round after round after round, and then the fight's over, and then we got a UD going into the 12th round. Got a few more comments here that I want to look at.
Sure.
Somebody brought up a young kid. Where is it? Let me go back. Here we go. Bruce Goes, speaking to the channel. What's up, man? He says, how about this dude, Christopher Lovejoy, 19-0 with 19 knockouts, 300 pounds versus David Allen.
Big dude.
Is that this weekend? Is that on the undercard of the Usyk Chisora? Man, if he's on the undercard, hey, I'll definitely be looking for him for sure. Man, I've never heard of him till right now. Thanks for the information.
I heard of him. I've never seen him fight live, but we'll check it out.
Yeah, we got big.
Pounds sounds like a lot, though. That sounds like a lot of weight to carry.
That is big, yeah. Big homie Coop is here. He says, "Salute G Funky in the chat. Hey, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it."
Hey, Kano, I'm just saying, 300 pounds is a lot. That's all I said.
That is a lot, man. That's a lot. How tall is he? I mean, is he, because that also plays into it too,
No, I don't care how
I
tall
mean,
you are, bro. 300 pounds? Come on.
yeah. I mean, that's like
Come on, G Funky. How tall is he? Come on.
what if he's like 6'8", like Hulk Hogan? I mean, goddamn, that's a big dude.
He's
That's
6
a
foot,
big guy.
6'5"?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. That's a big dude, though, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
Hulk
even,
Hogan was never 6'8", bro. Come on.
yeah, that's what they list him as. I think they showed. What's funny is they showed pictures of him throughout the years. He got a lot shorter, man. They put him, next to certain guys and stuff like that. And as he got older, he lost a couple inches.
Well, he was not 300. He's in the high 270s, like 286, 273, 264. But yeah.
Probably. I know they probably over exaggerate.
He was 236 in his last fight. So, hey.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's no sweat, man. You can, if you want to go back and check them out, you can. We're always here, man. Every Wednesday we do Uncensored. Now HCP on D-Style's channel has moved to Tuesdays. You can see it. Yeah, you can see it there on the bottom, scrolling across the screen there. We had a great show on yesterday with Sonteo Media. Good stuff there, man. So yeah, man, we pretty much touched on all the topics here that I had planned for the show. Man, we got them out of the way in 1 hour, man. It's quick work, baby. Easy work. You know what I'm saying?
Easy work.
So I'm going to open up to the chat, man. Do you guys have anything that you want us to touch on, or
shoot us some questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, shoot us some stuff, man.
Like I said, you guys never talk about what I want you to talk about. Well, this is your chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. This is your opportunity to get your opinion out there, and believe me, we'll get to it, man.
All I ask is that you guys ask reasonable questions now, okay? Hey, what about the minimum weight title fight in Taiwan happening next week? Like, you know what I mean? Like, chill with that a little bit. Suleiman, Afro-Rican, you want to talk about Suleiman?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Hey, is that Clemente right there? Look at that. The legend, man. One of the best to ever play the game right there. Let's see. Fantasy matchups.
I thought it was in the chat. Like, where?
That'd be something, huh?
Like with a little check mark next to it, like the official channel. I'd be like, what?
Let's see. Fantasy matchups. Loma versus Gamboa. Prime for prime? Ooh, that's a good matchup right there, man.
Loma beats him.
Yeah, I would probably have to go with Loma too. As good as Gamboa looked early on, and I was I liked what I seen from him.
Gamboa wouldn't be focused enough for 12 rounds. He wouldn't.
Chicano Prophet here. How do you know when you're in love? Hey, you just know.
Yeah.
Okay, ING has a question here. He says, Teofimo Lopez versus Mikey Garcia. Who wins? I'll have to ask you this. What weight would you have them fight at? 135?
Let's say 135. That's the only division you could talk about really right now. So
I think that's a real good matchup.
At 135 pounds, man, holy shit. I'm going to have to say this here, Funky. I think Mikey would have success early. And Mikey could crack, too. Don't get it twisted. For 135, he could crack. He dropped Salido like 3 or 4 times early in that fight.
Dude, he knocked down Jesse Vargas and hurt him multiple times at 147. So, I mean, he's got power,
Look, but for 135, he's got some serious power. People have forgotten that. And so it's not a gimme for Teofimo. That's a hell of a fight, bro.
It is.
I don't like Teofimo is just getting his career. I don't like, but I get it. It's for fun. It's all in good fun. Right now, I would have to favor Teofimo Lopez because the second half of the fight, Teofimo is still going to be on him. And I got to be honest, Mikey wanted out of that Salido fight, bro. Like, he wanted, he didn't want to go back in there with them. He kind of checked out. Like, he found a reason to no longer fight. He found a reason to get his W and move on. And I think Teofimo would stay on him, and it's going to hit him with some sharp, crosses and that right uppercut that he revealed in that fight. Mikey's guard, he'll bend over, get hit with a couple of those. So I'm reluctantly saying Teofimo. I just don't feel we have enough data as of right now to
Yeah,
make that assessment.
it's a little too premature because, and I agree with you, Chicano Prophet. There is room to improve, yes. As good as the kid is now, he can get better. And that's the scary thing with this kid. That's the real scary thing is he's only 23.
Hey, look at all the fighters Garcia's had, bro. From Maidana to like all the fighters he's had, from Jose Ramirez, all these guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he could be saying this because it's his brother. I get it, but Robert Garcia repeatedly has said Mikey's the best fighter I've ever had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just think about all the fighters he's had, and repeatedly says that's the best fighter I've ever had. So you can't just take that with a grain of salt.
Absolutely. And I know Chicano Prophet's got a thing for Mikey, you know.
Oh, is that what it is? He just wanted me to say that Mikey would lose a fight. Is that what this is?
Maybe, man, maybe. But, you know, I have to agree. I don't think there's enough of a blueprint on Teofimo yet. And he's getting better. But, man, it would be an interesting matchup, man. I would say
still
based off
happen at 140. Is that
it
still a
could.
possibility?
It could, yeah. I mean, Mikey can make 140. There's no doubt about that.
Mikey should be campaigning at 140, bro.
Dude, there's some money fights down there, man, for him.
Dude, like Mikey, I think has a really good chance against Josh Taylor. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Mikey lost to Spence. You think Josh Taylor's going to beat Spence at 147? I don't.
Or do you think he's as good as Spence? No, I don't. I don't think that at all. So
let me tell you this, bro. 140, just by nature. First of all, he doesn't look good at 147. Like, I know he beat Vargas and he knocked him down, but dude, like at 140, his punch would be better. You know what I mean? I think he'll be in better shape. He belongs at 140. That's where he belongs.
I agree.
Go to 140, dude. Like Mikey is immediately in the mix at 140. The same for Adrian Broner. I don't even like Broner, but if he campaigns at 140, he's in the mix. He's a top 10 guy right off the bat. These guys be campaigning at 140 pounds, and it would make that division hot. And hey, why not Teofimo versus Mike Garcia at 140, bro? That's a hell of a fight. Teofimo Lopez against Broner at 140. Hey, okay,
big fight. Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
And I've never, you know, I always thought, especially after watching Broner fight Malignaggi, I was thinking to myself, I don't even think this guy's a real 147 pounder. I just don't. He's just not. And I think the same with Mikey Garcia, you know. Macho Camacho versus Canelo, or Camacho versus Camacho too small for those guys. If we want,
Camacho's too small for 160. Come on, is that Chicano?
No.
Oh,
this is Superb Supreme.
Okay. All right.
So
sorry, Chicano.
Or Super Me, I should say. Yeah, a little trick there, a little play on words there.
Macho Camacho versus Canelo. Look, first of all, it just we couldn't make that fight. I mean, the Camacho that fought at a later age wouldn't stand a shot against Canelo because he was way past his prime.
Yeah, he was not good at those higher weights.
If we're honest, that was not the same. Don't let the win over Sugar Ray Leonard fool you, okay? Like, that was not the same Sugar Ray Leonard.
No, not even close.
Don't let it fool you. Camacho versus Plant, again, kind of the same thing. Just you know, we can't really make that match at any reasonable weight, to be honest.
Yeah, because Camacho
Mikey versus Regis Prograis says from PMC.
Oh, that's a good fight there too, man. Good fight. And Regis, you know, I think we kind of got a good read on him after the Taylor fight. He's a hell of a fighter. Kid can fight. I picked Taylor to win that fight. I actually scored it 7-5 for Regis, but Taylor got the gift decision. You know, which is not unusual for him. You know.
Well, here's what I'll say, and of course we're throwing shots. This is uncensored. We throw shots. Okay,
right.
But here's what I'll say. I feel the fight could have gone either way, but if we're honest, right? In a fight that could go either way, it's going to go to the countryman, okay? I know there's people out there that believe in conspiracies, that everyone's out to get a certain group of fighters, like the Eastern Europeans or whatever, but that's not what it is, bro. It's an A-side, B-side thing, or hometown, non-hometown thing. That's why Sturm hardly lost decisions. That's why he would give decisions in, you know, over there in Germany. Okay, De La Hoya did not get a gift decision over Stern because Stern's European. Okay, he got a gift decision because there was a big money fight to be made with Hopkins and De La Hoya, and De La Hoya was the big money man. That's why he got the gift decision.
Yep.
Okay,
All
has
he had to do
nothing
was
with anything. Like it's not people aren't favoring the Mexicans and the Latinos. Okay, there isn't a Latino association working to screw over other fighters. That's not a thing. Okay, if it was, Marcus wouldn't need 4 cracks at Pacquiao to finally be given a fucking decision. Okay, if that was the case. What did I mention earlier, G Funk? How many buys did he do against Casamayor? 50,000.
50.
Okay?
Yeah.
That answers everything for you. Well, why was Pacquiao favored in the scorecards?
On a Mexican holiday too, they fought. That was,
Plus, also the thing to look at are the lines. Look at the Vegas lines. Okay, if a guy is a big favorite, okay, like you think they're going to give a close decision to the guy that's going to lose Vegas and the big rollers, guys that have millions of dollars? You think they're going to give that fight? Who's more likely to get the benefit of the doubt and the special treatment? Okay, the A-side guy, the favorite. Okay, this idea that Vegas and would just allow some Mexican cartels to run boxing and screw over Eastern Europeans is beyond laughable to me. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of say that really quick. Okay, so I'm not saying that Josh Tater's an evil person or that there's a conspiracy against Regis Prograis and Americans or anything like that. It's just we're just keeping it real. If that fight was in New Orleans, okay, Regis would have won that fight. Okay? Oh, yeah. Why? Because it's his hometown. That's why he would have won that fight. All right. If it was in a neutral site, well, who knows who would have won? Okay, but it wasn't a neutral site. It was in the UK, and if it's a fight that could go either way, who are they going to give it to? They're going to give it to the guy in the UK. Okay.
Well, let me throw a curveball at you. Which I mean, I'm not disagreeing with what you said. I absolutely agree.
I'm like the Dodgers, baby, World Series. Throw that curveball. Let's go.
Asterisk season, but anyway.
Come on.
Anyway, there's a new conspiracy that I heard. A new one about things that are going on with scoring from a major boxing.
But what's the conspiracy? Well, what is it?
The conspiracy is this, right? The Julie Letterman scorecard, right? Okay. That happened because she's from New York and Teofimo's from New York. It didn't matter that it was in Vegas. They flew her in there so she can give a bad score.
I like what a milk car said, that hear the lady screaming. Right? Yeah. He thought it was a girlfriend. He's like, oh, it turned out it was Julie Letterman, right? Look, obviously, I disagree with Julie Letterman's scorecard. Okay, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the draw is just as atrocious. So, and the draw would have been worse because the right man would not have won. Okay,
absolutely.
So I still stick to that. Look, is there a possibility that Julie Letterman has posters of Teofimo Lopez on her wall and gets off to them or some bullshit and like, oh, he's from New York and I love New York and New York. Remember that song, right? If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Team, Big Apple, all day, every day. The sleep that never, the place that never sleeps. The city that never sleeps, especially when Teofimo Lopez pays me a visit. Hey, Julie, he's married. Okay, that's number one. But second, is there a possibility that that's the case? Probably. Who fucking knows? But there's no proof of that. Unless you could show me proof that Teofimo Lopez, took Julie Letterman out on a date or something. Okay, you got to show me proof of this. Like, this is not a squeaky clean sport, G-Funky. Corruption happens. Like telling me there's corruption in boxing, okay, is like calling Jenna Jameson a slut. Like, that doesn't tell me anything, okay? But it doesn't mean that Jenna Jameson, okay, slept with Chicana Prophet just because somebody says it, right? Like, she slept with Chicana Prophet. She's a slut. Why wouldn't she? Okay, but just because that doesn't mean she actually slept with Chicana Prophet. Okay, that's not proof. Right? And I feel that's what people do. They take circumstances and they just tie them together, and they believe that a correlation is a causation. Okay. Now, granted, there's absolutely no correlation between Chicano Prophet and Jenna Jameson. I just made that up. Okay. This is just for the record. This is how rumors start. Okay. But so no. All right. If Chicano's Prophet's girls listen to this, no, he did not sleep with Jenna Jameson. I'm joking. Okay. I'm just saying. Now, but that's it. Okay. People think every correlation, Chief Funky, is a causation. People just believe that. Oh, she's from New York. He's from New York. Oh, therefore, like that's just not the way it works, bro. Like that's not. There's no causation there. Maybe Julie Letterman just felt he won rounds 1 through 8, 7 and 8. She thought maybe they were close, but she gave them to Teofimo Lopez. Okay, maybe she felt round 9 was close enough. A lot of people, including Max Kellerman, have called that a swing round, right? A close round. Maybe she felt that it was close enough to give it to Teofimo Lopez still. Maybe she felt the body shot landed around 10 was enough to win him the round. And maybe she gave him 11, which was Lomachenko's best round by far. And maybe she felt that, Teofimo won round 12. It's not that. It's not inconceivable, right? I disagree with it. I think you got to give Loma some of those rounds, but at least 2 more, right? But at the end of the day, that's how she saw it. Like it doesn't mean anything. Oh, he's from New York and she's from New York. And look, if they want to implement a rule that a judge cannot be from the same state, okay, then do it. Like if we all want to agree to that, like you can have a judge from the same state or area that these fighters are fighting from. I'm all for it. Let me tell you what I've always been for, G Funky. I've always been for, to avoid shit like this, the 3 judges cannot be from where the 2 fighters are from, right?
Hey,
Manny Pacquiao fighting, let's say Manny Pacquiao fights Crawford, okay? None of the judges could be from the Philippines or from the U.S. and put it to rest. Get them from Ecuador, okay? Get a judge from India, get a judge from UK, whatever, and then just have them score the fight, okay? Whatever.
And I want to talk about this question here. I mean, it's kind of a general question about, this generation of fighters. I mean, I think, from a lot of the young fighters that we have coming up, I'm excited, man. I'm real excited. If we just go the lower weight classes from, 130 to 147, I mean, there's a ton of talent in all of those divisions. I mean, let's start at 130. You got Shakur Stevenson there. You've got Burchelt, you got Valdez. There's a lot of big names at 135. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, all young guys in their early 20s, I believe. 140, we see a guy who's fighting Saturday, Regis Prograis, and then we got the 2 guys at the top of the division, Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez.
Right.
Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis at 147, the young guys there. Man, we got a lot of good young talent, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Guard, watch out.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys I'm probably missing.
Regis is in his 31, but yeah, I get you. But he's young in the boxing. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, man. Here's a good question from African G again. Shout out to African G, man. Mikey versus Camacho at 135. Ooh, that's a good matchup right there, man.
Oh,
that's a good matchup right there.
I think Camacho wins. Let me tell you why.
I was going to say that too.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Camacho's hand speed was something special at lightweight. You go back and watch some of his fights at lightweight, man. This guy was blazing fast, and his legs were a lot better back then too. So, yeah, I think I would favor Camacho in that fight, man, based off the hand speed and the leg movement.
Well, yes. The hand speed, I believe, will be too much for Mikey. But that's not, like, I'm not really that concerned about the hand speed because you could time the hands. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You could time that. Like, these boxers are timing speed bags and shit. You know what I mean? They could time the hand. But the reality is the legs. The legs are going to be Mikey's kryptonite. Like, Camacho would be doing the river dance all over him. You know what I mean? And like I'm telling you right now, you got to be able to keep up. And I don't think Mikey will be able to keep up with Camacho. That would give, and to explain to people, because I understand you still got to come in to punch, but that allows you to dictate when you're going to come in to punch. When a boxer can dictate, okay, there's going to be no action unless I decide that there's going to be action. Okay, we're not going to be at a range to punch unless I decide. Right? You can keep following me all you want. You're not going to be at puncher's range. I will decide. I will strategize when we're at puncher's range. That is a big advantage for a fighter. And it goes back, and I hate to go back to this fight, but to the Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, and who am I kidding? Of course, I don't hate going back to this fight. One of the things people were saying, G-Funk, if you remember, was, how is he going to keep up with the pace and the footwork of Loma? I mean, he's flat-footed, and how is a flat-footed guy But I said it. I remember on Black and Brown's channel, and some people questioned it, right? And I said, you guys will be surprised how Teofimo can keep up with Loma, because he doesn't have to do the river dance and dance, because he's quick on his feet and he plants them to throw, but it's a quick plant. Okay, but Teofimo Lopez can move. He's got really good footwork. He keeps at a mid-range pressure. Okay, he cuts the corners where he has to cut the corners. He makes the ring smaller continuously, and that's what you have to do. Now, I'm not saying Mikey can't do that, but I just think that Camacho's footwork is so superior to Mikey's. Like, if we're talking prime to prime 135, that he will be able to dictate when he's going to be at puncher's range, and that'll be too much for Mikey, I believe.
Yeah, I agree. And not only that, I think a lot of people underestimate this about Camacho, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's a lot of young fight fans out there that didn't really get to experience Camacho the way that you and I did. But this guy had a hell of a chin. I mean, he could take a fucking punch, man. I mean, He took shots from Chavez when Chavez was still in his prime. Might have been at the tail end of his prime by the time they fought, but he was still in his prime. He took shots from a real deal prime Oscar De La Hoya too. Now, Oscar dropped him in that fight, but he got up and continued to fight. And he could take a good punch, man. So I don't think Mikey would be able to hurt him, in a fight with Camacho. Next question we have here. Nopal says Teofimo versus Tank at 135. I got to go with the guy who's more proven at 135, and that's Teofimo Lopez, man. I mean,
well, here's what I'll say. Can I say this?
Yeah.
Well, I agree that he's more proven. Keep in mind, G-Funky, we went against the grain in terms of proven, because Lomachenko is more proven at 135 than Teofimo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So while I agree he's more proven, that's not why I'm picking him to win. Okay. I just think Teofimo Lopez would be a little too much for Tank. Tank could hit. He could hit hard. All the questions still linger of, is he going to be in good shape or not and stuff like that. But assuming he comes in shape, right?
Yeah.
Teofimo Lopez, I think, would be able to. I think if there's one guy that could keep up with Tank at mid-range, it is Teofimo Lopez. And Teofimo Lopez has the dimensions on him. I think he's a bigger guy than Tank. The skeleton, I should say. And while it's not a give me, I'll be honest, I will be a little more worried about Tank than I was against Lomachenko, a little bit. But I would pick Teofimo Lopez to win that fight.
Yeah, I would too. I think being in there with a guy and taking a punch from a Richard Comey, who, is the guy who can punch, and punches a lot. That shows a lot about his chin, about the grit that this kid has, and then being able to go in there with a guy like Lomachenko and doing what he did against Lomachenko. I mean, yeah, I'd have to roll with him in that fight. Although Tank is still dangerous, don't get me wrong. He's fast, got the power, but again, like you always mentioned, the fighter's lifestyle. He doesn't live that fighter's lifestyle, and until he proves otherwise, man, I'm gonna question that. Going into certain fights, and even going into this fight on Saturday. Another good question we have here: Jermell Charlo versus Crawford at 154. I would have to favor Charlo. Crawford. It's been a long time since I've seen him in there with anybody worth anything. So man, I would have to roll with Charlo. I think he's got good power. I mean, we've seen that on display. in a lot of his fights, he's knocked out guys. I think the last 2 fights he's had knockouts. So he's got good power. Could box a little bit. Although I think Crawford is the better boxer out of the two. I just don't know if he would carry any kind of power at 147. I mean, I'm not 147, 154. My mistake. I like Crawford a lot, man, but I would favor Charlo.
Here's my concern with Crawford in this fight. Crawford started at 135, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not like a little dude. You know what I mean? So, like G Funky said, I would have to question his power to keep a Jermell off of him.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what I will say. I agree with you. He hasn't been with anybody or something like that. I get all that, but Crawford's skills are real. Okay?
Yes.
He's one of the most skilled fighters in the world. So I don't know who I would pick. I'm going to keep it real. Okay? But Crawford could figure guys out. Once he figures you out, it's a wrap. Okay? And Jermell can be outboxed. It's happened before. So, I think it's a 50-50 fight if they were to fight right now. But it wouldn't be smart for him to just jump up and fight him. I would rather him kind of, move up, test the waters, fight a top 10 guy, see how it goes, so on and so forth. But I'll say 51% Jermell, 49% Crawford.
Close fight, for sure. I would have to favor Charlo as of right now. I want to see how his power looks against a Kell Brook, who is a naturally pretty big guy.
He's going to destroy Kell Brook.
He probably will. Here's another question here. We're going to a few more, and then we're going to wrap this thing up, guys.
Sure.
ING says, is Inouye the new Lomachenko pound for pound guy that they're going to push on us?
Oh, I should have let the question go.
Don't jump the gun on me now, bro.
Like, here's my thing, man. I kind of feel like, look, let me explain this to you guys. Are there guys that just don't think anything of the lower weight class guys and, look at these little guys aren't shit? And yes, there is. Like, there's guys that don't have any respect for the lower weight classes at all, right? And then you have the polar opposite. I don't know if they're trying to overcompensate for those people or what, but you have this polar opposite of guys that overpraise the little guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you look at is they cite the accomplishments, right? Oh, he's won at 4 divisions, 3 divisions. Like, dude, those things are common at the lower weight classes. Like, winning multiple titles at the lower weight classes is easier by the sheer numbers. You could look at them. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. It's just, if you start, it's not somebody's fault. If a guy's a natural middleweight when he starts off as a pro, becoming a 3 division champion is a lot harder because then you got to go 160, 168, 175. That's a much harder path and a far more impressive by the sheer, again, we could look at the numbers. Also, I've done the numbers before. I've crunched them up. If you look at the lower weight classes, some of these weight classes have, 200-300 participants worldwide, where welterweight has like 2,000. I mean, it's not even close. You have to consider those things. What does that tell me? That what that tells you is when you have one division with 2,000, another one with 200, okay, that means, okay, that number 2 at welterweight, the number 2, number 3, number 4 guy would be like the number 10, the number 20, the number 40, and the other at a welterweight. Okay, that's basically what that means. Okay, of course, there's outliers, et cetera, et cetera. Look, Monster Inoue is a good fighter, a good offensive, fighter. He's like the greatest show on turf. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got all the weapons. He's got play action pass. He's got the long range. You know what I mean? He's got a good running game. Offensively, he's a juggernaut. But he's not the Baltimore Ravens, okay, at defense, okay, the 2000,
no,
right?
He's
not. You have people acting like this guy is the Rams of 99 at offense and the Baltimore Ravens at defense, okay, from the 2000. He's not, okay? This guy's defense is okay. I'm not going to say it's horrible. It's okay. It's not pound for pound level, okay? He gets hit flush, okay? Now, I want to make sure you guys understand me, right? Chocolatito, all right, just had a fight against his tocayo. Okay, he fought Gonzalez. All right. Now listen to me. In the little weights, guys just get hit more because, as Chief Funk and anybody else knows, okay, they're throwing far more punches. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The like the pace is a lot higher, right? So if people are throwing 100 punches around, you're going to get hit more than if you throw 20. Okay, it's by the sheer number. Okay, and what happens there is that what Chocolatito was doing against Gonzalez, in my opinion, was better defense than I've ever seen in Nui show, ever. Because Chocolatito was being very offensive, but he was only getting hit with 20% of the power shots of his opponent. Okay, keeping his guard up and using his offense as a defense in a sense, and also getting in exchanges, but dictating, like starting the exchanges and finishing them, right? Same with Estrada. He was getting hit by Cuadras, right? But more often than not, right, he would dictate when to start the exchanges, and he would also touch him to the body, and he would always end the exchanges, similar to chess. Okay, in chess, you start doing exchanges. Okay, so I would rather lose, 2 pawns and a rook, okay, than lose, my a pawn, my queen, okay, and a knight, and then get put on check. You know what I mean? and I feel like yes, and that's what Estrada was doing. You got to pay really close attention to what he's doing. So this is where a lot of guys get it mixed up. Oh, they get hit a lot in the lower weight classes because it's literally a different strategy than the higher weight classes. Okay, Chief Funky, can a guy win just pot shotting at flyweight?
No,
you can't do it. No, you can't. You cannot win at the highest level just pot shotting guys in those weight classes. Now let's go back to Inoue. The only reason I went through that, I don't want to hear it because you just don't understand the lower. I do understand. Okay, look, Inoue, in my opinion, okay, if you look at Chocolatito, all right, his better center of gravity, better guard, okay, isn't getting hit with as much, flush shots as Inoue does. Okay, he's almost always hitting his opponent back with better combinations than his opponent is when they're in exchanges. Inoue gets hit flush and nothing comes back at times. Okay, this dude's head snaps back at times when he gets hit. So that is problematic to me.
Yes.
Nonito Donaire hurt him in that fight, and I had somebody who came respectful in his AT style, but he broke the orbital bone early, and he showed a lot of heart, and you saw him change his strategy and didn't just become a headhunter, and yeah, I agree with all that. He did show heart in the fight with Donaire. Okay, it was an exciting fucking fight. Okay, he showed me something about him. He showed me what he's made of in that, right? But the reality is that doesn't make him pound for pound because fighters show that top fighters show us that all the time. Okay, that's not like exclusive to Inoue.
Yeah,
it just isn't. Right? Inoue is a good fighter. He's just overrated by some people, and he's underrated by others. There's guys that think he hasn't accomplished anything, and well, that's not true either. There's two extremes. Okay. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Inoue is a really good fighter. He's an exciting fighter. He's good for boxing. Okay. And you know what he's doing? He's challenging himself. He's going to fight another titleist in Maloney. You got to applaud that. Okay. I just need people to, pump the brakes, right? And stop giving him all these accolades before he gets them. Okay. I just don't like showing me, he beat this many world champions in weight classes separated by 3 or 4 pounds doesn't impress me like that. It might impress some other people, but you got to take all that into account. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, defense is not the strongest part of his game. And I said that going into the Donaire fight. People laughed at me. And then guess what? The fight came, and the man was getting hit. And I even mentioned Donaire's improved right hand and how that was going to come into the fight. And guess what? The man blasted him with several right hands, hurt him with the right hand. And that's not even his strongest punch, man. That left hook of his has got a lot of power in it. And credit to Inoue. He was able to survive and come back and get a knockdown and win that fight. But, Yeah, he was in there getting hit with lead right hands from a part-time boxer, guys. Okay, just let that sink in. All right, when
Now,
fought
can he
first
come
time,
out
you know?
and show me in G-Funk you're right? Let's say he starts slipping shots and blocking the majority of Maloney shots, and then bam, hitting him with big counters, and then finish him. Then if he could show me that, then of course I would say, you know what, the guy's Inoue improved. He's getting
Yeah.
better, like whatever. But I need to see that first. Like blasting out guys early is fun and all, and very impressive for those weight classes. Do not get it twisted. Okay, I get that. But the reality is, what's going to happen if he can't hurt Maloney early? What's going to happen if Maloney starts coming back? What's going to happen then? You have to ask yourself, he's not going to blast everybody out. He just isn't.
No.
So what happens when he doesn't blast guys out? What next? Maybe it's he'll try to adjust like he did in the Donaire fight, in a very close fight, by the way. Okay. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
you're going to have to dig deep, like we saw. And credit to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but he's gonna have it was a fight of the year candidate, but was it a pound for pound performance? No, not in my opinion. I mean,
no, I agree. A few more here. We got a couple more good questions here, but this is Better Biev. I just say, but Canelo versus Better Biev from Nopal. No surprise, he's gonna ask a question about Canelo. But I would favor Better Biev right
and
now.
What fight? What fight?
Canelo versus Better Biev.
Look, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you guys. Okay. And shout out to Joe Habib. I got him the contact, but he did the interview, and he asked a question for me about Canelo. Okay. Look, Better Biev's trainer said to try to make that Canelo fight. Okay. Canelo didn't want any of it. But you got to keep it 100. Okay.
I mean, and that's not a knock. I mean, he understands. You know, this guy Better Biev he's really good, really strong, hits like a truck.
Look,
you know,
I'm not a guy that falls in love with power and stuff like that. Okay, I'm always very worried. Look at how we're just talking about Inoue. Okay, but Better Biev isn't just a big power puncher. Okay, he's a really good inside fighter, really good. Okay, and his punch placement is really good as well. Okay. So when he hits a guy with a shot, okay, guys with good punch placement are not pattern fighters. Okay. So to kind of give you guys an idea, when a guy throws a combination, right? Let's say, he throws a 1-2-3, for example, right? That's a jab, cross, hook. Am I wrong? That's what it is. Okay. So, throw a 1-2-3. You know what I mean? There's guys that just do that. Throw a 1-2-4, like whatever, 1-2-5, whatever it is. Okay, throw a 1-2-6 with a lead uppercut, whatever that punch is. Right? There's guys that have combinations already set. Okay, and they throw them. Vajtik is one of those guys. Right? Better Biev did something in that fight. He figured out the pattern of Vajtik. Okay, once he did that, it was a wrap. Once he did that, it was over. And we don't really see a lot of inside fighters that could do that. Now, back to the punch placement, right? A punch placement guy is going to throw a 1, and then it's not already programmed to throw a 2. That's not already programmed and instilled there, right? Instead, I'm going to throw my jab, and then they do this quick navigation. They kind of scan the body of their opponent. If they see the right side of their body open, then they throw a hook to the body. If they see that they're open to a cross, then they throw the 2 followed by the 1. If they see that nothing's open, then they could take a step back, right? So that's what a guy with good punch placement can do. They navigate after every punch that is thrown. There's very few guys that could do that at the highest level. Plant's one of them, okay? Better Biev's another one. Crawford's another one, okay? And I'm telling you right now, Better Biev's going to be a tough dude to beat. Canelo's team did the right thing by going back to 168 because he was going to get hurt in that fight. I'm just telling you that right now. Canelo would have gotten seriously hurt. Losing against Better Biev is career threatening. It really is. And I'm not trying to over exaggerate here. I'm not. Okay. If you lose to Better Biev, it's by a beating. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at what it did to Vajtik, bro. He beat the soul out of him. All right.
Yeah, the guy retired.
He beat the soul out of him. You got to be careful with guys that can beat the soul out of you. Okay, and that's what Better Biev does. All right,
Yeah.
he's gonna be a
And
tough dude to beat, bro. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't even think Bivol could beat him. I do think Bivol's a better boxer on the outside than Better Biev, even in mid range maybe. But at the end of the day, Better Biev's gonna get on the inside on him, man. He's gonna get on the inside, and Bivol's too much of a pattern fighter for my liking.
Run PMC ruffling some feathers in the chat, but you know what? Hey, man, we got to give our honest opinion here. That's what we do.
Hey,
Last
I'm just
question.
being honest. That's all.
Yeah, and again, if we go back and look now, I know that he finished him with a beautiful knockout in the Kovalev fight, Canelo that is, but let's not act like Canelo wasn't getting hit in that fight with some flush shots, man. I mean, just imagine Better Biev, you know, like it'd be ugly, man. Just like D-Style said, it would be real ugly. Last question we're gonna take here, and I think this is a pretty good matchup here, I guess. But I'm favoring Oscar De La Hoya big time in this fight, man. I just think the hand speed is too good.
At what weight? 154?
Yeah. I think the hand speed is
but
too
that
good.
wasn't the same Oscar, though.
If we take the Oscar that fought Vargas,
Okay.
I'm taking De La Hoya.
Yeah,
I think he stops him. I think he stops Charlo. That's what I'm saying. I think a left hook lands, and it's good night, Charlo. Honestly, I do think that.
Yeah.
As good as Charlo is, I mean, to me, his hand speed is just okay. You know, oh no, I wouldn't say okay. He's got good hand speed. It's not like superior hand speed. You know,
I think
Oscar to me has superior hand speed.
I would go with decision. I think he would win a decision against Charlo. 8-4.
Yeah, I think that one that Oscar that fought Vargas, that's a tough Oscar to beat right there, man.
Yeah.
Because he did take some good shots in that fight against Vargas, and Vargas was roided up. I mean, the guy was cut. I mean, he looked like a statue of a Greek god or something. This dude, I was like, wow, I never seen Fernando look this cut, you know? And man, I was thinking, wow, we got a fight. We got a good fight here. You know, I was picking Oscar to win that fight easy going into it. Not gonna lie, and I think I was what, 18 or something, maybe 20 when that fight happened, and I was like, man, like that's back when I used to really think that the weigh-ins meant something, you know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I was in shock to see how in good a shape Fernando was in, and I was like, damn, we got ourselves a fight. But turns out Oscar was just too much, man. He was just too good, and you know, I think a lot of people really underestimate. I mean, yeah, I know we can make fun of Oscar now and things like that, but in the ring, this guy was all business. He was able to he had great chin and he had great power and great speed, man. So I would take Oscar for sure, man. Damn you, Afro-Rican G. I said that was going to be the last one, and you asked this question. You know who I'm going with that one, man. Let's let D-Style answer that one, and then we'll wrap it up, man.
Tito Trinidad knocks him out. Yes,
I'm taking Trinidad as well, man. And in a good fight. I think that's a much better fight than the Oscar fight. I do, man. I really do. Santeo's here. Hey, thanks for joining us, man. You're a little late to the party, but that's all right. You can always go back and check the archive, you know. But this was a great show, man. We got another show tomorrow on D-Style channel, 5 p.m., right, D-Style?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I'll announce it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we got a show. We're not certain on the time yet, but there's just going to be a roundtable
discussion. The same time as always. 5 p.m. can mean anything, but yeah, it's it's 6 my time, 5 in California, and all that good stuff. Same time we have the roundtable every week.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. We'll be talking about again the fights for this weekend. Today we touched on some controversial topics. That's what HCP is all about, maybe HCP Uncensored, But we had Gano Loco on. I want to thank him for coming on. I want to thank D-Style for coming on. And I especially want to thank all you guys in the chat that were here with us and all the good questions that you asked us at the end. I appreciate you guys being here, interacting with us. So we're going to wrap this thing up, man. And we will see you guys tomorrow on the roundtables. Make sure your ass is there. All right?
All right. Peace out, guys.
So for D-Style
HCP, everybody.
That's right, baby. Let's keep spreading this HCP gospel. All right, we get it out there, okay? But for D-Style Boxing and Gano Loco, this is G Funky Boxing. Thank you guys so much. HCP is out.
All right, peace out, guys.